Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. That's right, Homeschool. I'm Mrs. T. Today we're going to be doing an update video. We're going to talk about how things have been going for the past couple of 1 to 2 months, really like 2 months here in our homeschool, because we have really hit some amazing strides and I wanted to share them with you. Just kind of also be upfront about some of the struggles that we've had and all the fun stuff. So first, let's give just an overview with our big updates. I say big updates, they're not big. But the last 2 months, it's been about 5 to 6 weeks where we have been struggling with just sickness. Sickness in the house. We had flu, we had strep, we had a tussle with a poison plant that affected skin. It was just really not very fun. And then we had a lot of storms. So we spent a lot of time indoors, more often than normal, which was a bit of a struggle for us. We did not get the good outdoor time in the same way that we typically do, because normally we spend outside time every single day to some capacity, and we learn outside most days, and we just didn't get that opportunity because we weren't feeling up for it. Now, even though we didn't really feel well as a whole, we did still get a lot of school done. In fact, we only skipped school, I think, for 2 or 3 of those days. And that's like when we were all we sat on the couch, we slept, watched a little bit of TV, and that was basically it. Like, even eating was a struggle. But we are on the mend, we're starting to feel better, and I thought it would be the perfect time to go over what we did succeed at, because we did make a lot of strides. So we're going to start with phonics. We are still making our way through elemental phonics level 1 with my preschooler. Now, we've actually slowed down how fast we're going through this. Let me grab the sheet here. Here is our tracking sheet that we are currently on. So you can see we're near the end. But what we have started doing is we do a single lesson. So we're at the sentence lessons now, where each lesson is 3 sentences. So we've been doing that. And then we pivot to a reader. So then we have my child get this practice of reading actual stories in books as opposed to just reading in a phonics program. And it has really helped. So the first book that I think really started this love of this practical practice, we'll call it, is this book that we got from the library. This was the first one. We've gotten a few, but every time I go to the library now, we are looking for these level 0 early readers. I'm going to cover our library name, but up here on the back of this, you can see it's called Ready to Go. These are stellar starters, and these focus on sight words, word families, rhyme, and repetition. And these books are perfect. Now, some of those level 0s are still too hard. We haven't worked on like long vowels, and there are some like level 0s that are focusing on that. So we've had to kind of be very, I guess, picky with our level 0s, but we have found a couple. This has been his favorite. We got it out again. He loves it so much. And it's called Frog Can Hop. And you can actually see kind of the context here. You get basically like 1 sentence per page. Now, what I really like about this is we are working on those short vowels, but it does also work on some of the combinations that we haven't officially practiced yet in elemental phonics, but we've learned them and now we're practicing them, and he's starting to recognize them because he's had this kind of real life application. Now, the other kind of books that we do like is we are working our way through the Bob Books Collection 1. I'll be honest, we kind of like randomly pick from here, so I don't even know how far we have technically gone. Let me just pull one of these up. But I can tell you this is book 14, and we've read this one. This is Up Pup. I believe that all of the books in collection 1 are short vowels, but I'd have to confirm. In fact, I'll write it here on the screen what this first collection does cover. But we have read this one. This is book 14, and we just kind of randomly pick at this point. Now, I decided not to go necessarily in the Bob order because we started going in the Bob order and we'd like practice the same kind of book, and he started memorizing it. So that was like, all right, we can't do that. So we kind of keep it a little fresh, and he is able to do these at this point. So we just kind of pick and choose, and it's like random practice. Now, the other 2 book series that he absolutely loves are both from Scholastic. So we have here this Laugh a Lot Phonics. This is their set 1, and you can even see here it says it's short vowels. And then we have, check this out, non-fiction phonics readers, and this is their set 1, and this covers the short vowels as well, and then basic blends. These ones were a little bit more aligned with like we're going progressively through them, we're progressing through them properly, sequentially, as opposed to the Bob ones we're just randomly pulling. Okay, the other thing with phonics is we are still working through Hooked on Phonics level 1 as a family very slowly. This was actually one of the things that we had to kind of table a little bit this past illness, because my kids were not sick at the same time. It was one and then the other, and we like to do this together. So we just finished M. So we are making our way through. That's page 38 that we just finished yesterday. And we're back to it. So we'll make our way through. We're on N now. And that is what it is. Not a big deal. Making our way. All right, let's talk about writing, because writing is kind of similar to phonics right now, because our primary writing is coming from the Explode the Code Primer series. So my preschooler has finished the Get Set for the Code Book B, and we are now moving into and working on our Book C, which is Go for the Code. And these are working really well. My preschooler has hit a stride with writing in the past 2 months. So before it was really a bit of a struggle. It was really focusing on that letter formation, which we still are, but I've noticed that there are certain letters that's more working on refinement. So he's able to independently write, for example, an H. He knows what the H is supposed to look like, lowercase and uppercase. He knows. It's just now a matter of getting it into the right, like I said, refinement. So we're working on making it look pretty as opposed to remembering, which is really cool. Okay, now let's go into the next subject, which is math. We have finished with my preschooler here, mathematical reasoning beginning level 2. Now I do have level A, and this is actually laminated in a binder. We have level A. Level A is much more writing intensive versus the beginning levels. And I wanted us to continue with this, and we are, but it would be too much writing on top of what we're already doing. I feel like it would restrict his learning if we were just doing the writing through there. So what we are doing now is every day we get one of these sheets, we take them out, and we're practicing just front and back one page. So this is page 24 or 23 and 24. So he goes through, and you can see it has a little bit more writing here. Practice writing out our digits. We could do this without the digit writing practice, but I do want it. I think it's valuable, but it's just one page a day is a good pace for us right now. And we have shifted to our primary math is actually the primer book from Math UC. We just finished lesson 7, so we are making our way through this book. And at this point, lessons 1 through 8 are basically a review and another in-depth practice of what we have already covered in the mathematical reasoning levels, beginning levels 1 and 2. So at this point in time, it's still kind of a practice. We're getting kind of used to how Math UC works. But lesson 8 is going to be starting to introduce some of the unique or things that they were just starting to touch on in those 2 beginning levels. So that is really good. I'm really glad that we're doing this combination. It's working well, and my child loves it. Interestingly enough, he's not a big fan of the manipulatives yet. Because the stuff that we're doing is pretty much review. He doesn't feel like he wants it or needs it. And so I'm respecting that. I do pull him out and give him the option every time, but he doesn't really go for it very often. Now, the other thing that I guess is related to math, through it here, is we have started reading, we only read 1 chapter so far, but this is Life of Fred Apples. This is not our math curriculum, but it is a fun book that shows, it's a story, it's kind of a silly story, and I wanted to show my child how math applies to the real world. And so we finished the first chapter not too long ago, and he really, really, really enjoyed it. He asked me just today if we were going to do Fred again. So I think we're going to do chapter 2. We don't have to do it every day. We're not even doing it like at a cyclical time, but we are starting to pull in a little bit of life of Fred as well, and we are really enjoying that. Okay, now let's go ahead and get into the new stuff because we have had a lot of new. I think it was in January, end of January, early February, my child actually asked if we could do more schooling, which was like the best feeling ever. I was like, absolutely we can. So we have actually started pulling in some science as one of the things that we're doing. So we are doing Real Science Odyssey Life. We are we're on Unit 2. And we are doing a lab, the Unit 2 lab, the second one today, which is all about animal cells versus plant cells. And this is we're really enjoying it. Now, the way that this is formatted is it has a short reading passage and then 2 labs. With their age, and because my toddler is also doing it, we have started doing it. The way that we do it is we start with the reading passage, and then I've created sort of a game or a review that we do a couple of times before we hop into the lab. So a single unit is taking us a little bit longer, but it is really enjoyable. So for example, what I did, the very first lesson or unit is all about the things that animals do to identify a living thing, I should say, not animals, but a living thing. So there are 8 characteristics of living things. So we played a game where my children stood on a stool and I asked them, like, do all living things need to wear hats? I was like, no, so they wouldn't jump. Do all living things take in energy? Yes. Okay, tell me, how do we take in energy? We eat. How does a plant take in energy? They absorb sunlight and they process it. And so we started like playing a game where we really honed in on these facts, and the jumping off the stool was a really fun way. My kids really liked it. For cells, we have kind of supplemented by, we did some things with Play-Doh on our own. We did the lab, which was the egg, and then we also now we're working on the other lab, but we've had more conversations about it. We have some encyclopedias that we had pictures of cells, so we are using this, but we are taking a little bit more time to really hone in on some of those facts. We don't just do the reading and then hop into the lab. And before we do each lab, we reread the reading as a group. So yeah, we are making our way through and we're really liking it so far. Like, we're really, really enjoying that one. The other thing that we have started doing is we have circled back to a program, I have it open here, that we started at the beginning of the year and then we stopped. So we are back at it with Build Your Library Around the World. This is their level 0 program, and we restarted it. So basically at the beginning of the year, this was one of the things that we started doing, but it was just too much. I signed us up for too many things. I didn't quite understand what our day today was gonna look like. But now we're at a good point where we can do it again. Now we already read The Very, Very Far North, which is the first novel that you cover in the first few weeks here. So we're not rereading that book, but we're kind of circling back to the things that we should have done and did a little bit. So we're only on week 3 of this one, and it's going well. It's going well. We like it. It's going well. We'll start with it's going well. We're 3 weeks in, but we are enjoying it, and I'm glad that we pulled this one out again. Now, what kind of pairs very nicely with this is core knowledge. So for free online, they have history and geography units. I, at the time, did not really have an easy way for us to do this as a family. I now have a laptop that I can use, but I had purchased for $20 the first 4 units for kindergarten level. So we're making our way through this very first one, which is Let's Explore Our World. And we are just about to start. We just talked about Canada, which is what we're getting into with the Build Your Library. So we will revisit the Canada portion of the program here, and we're going to kind of pick and choose from here to supplement the Build Your Library, which is pretty cool. And the other thing that we're kind of doing to supplement that is when we hit a country, so we're working on Canada right now, we are picking some food to make, and we are coloring the flags, and we have a couple of other activities. We're going to be listening to traditional music, and if there's something that the country is really proud of, for example, hockey with Canada, we will watch a little bit of whatever it is that they are very proud of. So we have some recipes we're going to be making, and we're going to do a deep dive into each country that we cover in the Build Your Library program. And we're starting to build like our own little passport showing that we've visited the country in the kitchen and explored it a little bit. All right, so the last couple of things that I wanted to share, this is actually kind of a long update, sorry, is we are still making our way through The Mouse and the Motorcycle. We're at near the end of this one. This was one that we did need to pause a little bit while we were sick, especially Mama. It was hard for me to speak for a while, so we had to pause it, but we are back. And we are at the point in the story where Keith, the little boy, is sick. So it was actually like, while we were reading it, my child's like, oh, it's like us. He needs his medicine. He needs his shot, because one of us had to get a shot for the poison plants situation. It was not fun. But anyway, it was very, yeah, we love this book. It's very fun. My kid wants to learn how to ride a motorcycle now. He keeps talking about it. All right. Last two things that we have started casually doing is my child, again, he started showing interest in like workbooks. So I pulled out, we had Brain Quest pre-K, and he was just beyond that. So I add also this one, which is Summer Brain Quest. This is pre-K and K. And this book is so cool, you guys, as a workbook. And here's why. The workbook itself is fine, but it comes with this map. And I'm gonna zoom in here. And what your child does is when they finish something, so you can see we just started it, we only have 4 done, but you get like these little stickers, and then right here on the map, you get this little compass icon, and it's an outdoor activity that they recommend doing. Now it's meant for summertime, but it's perfect because the weather's starting to get a little bit warmer, and this was just something that we've only pulled it out twice. Who knows if we'll finish it, but it's been a really fun thing. He really likes the map portion of the program, and it's just a little bit of extra, I don't know, extra practice. I'm not going to force him to do it though, because it's kind of busy work, but he likes it, so I'm not going to stop it. The next thing that we have started doing is the building thinking skills. So because our math has shifted from like sitting on the couch to more of like writing, I got this to see if this could kind of replace our sit on the couch, because he really likes our cozy math puzzles, as he calls them. And yeah, this also has writing in it. So a lot of them we can do on the couch, but some of them do require me to pull out the pages. So I just pulled them out the pages, and then we put them in the sheets. But we're enjoying this one as well. It wasn't what I was quite expecting. Again, I was kind of hoping for something we can just sit down without that writing, but is what it is. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about is spring is here around the corner. So what we're going to be kind of working on as a family is everything that you see here. The only thing that we are going to be adding, and we had every intention of adding this in spring and summer, is a more focused nature study. And we are going with this program. It's called Hands on Nature. It says information and activities for exploring the environment with children. This book is really cool, you guys. I got it from Thrift Books. And what it does, and I'll kind of show you here, is each lesson is going to start with a reading portion, and they don't dumb this down for children. Like, it is, it's pretty thorough, we'll put it that way. And then they do activities to follow up to that with that topic. So that one, what I just showed you, was like a reading about the forest floor. It talks about food webs. It talks about fungi. It has suggested books to read with your children. And it has all sorts of things in here. It talks about decomposition. And then you have some activities that you're going to do with your family. This book is absolutely incredible. I'm so excited to implement this for spring and summer. And I'm just really excited. This is not going to be our kindergarten nature. or environmental science stuff, but this is a great introduction to it, and it's going to get us outside and it's going to get us moving and being purposeful. So in my next update video, I'm hoping that you see this book in action and I can give you an update there. Wow, this video was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I'm so sorry, but thank you so much for sticking around. Comment down below, let me know how your homeschool is going. How's your year going so far? I'm loving it, you guys. I am absolutely loving it. Now, I know some of you are waiting for our kindergarten and preschool curriculum and planning videos that are coming up. Again, because we were sick, I really couldn't do very much talking. That is coming down the pipeline, and I'm really excited to share it with you. So thank you so much. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button so you can see when the next content is coming out, and I will talk to you guys soon. You have a good one. Bye, everyone.